What is going on, everybody? I'm here to talk about a few things today. Let me open this up. Let me get off Instagram. Oh, Diddy case. Oh no, his verdict is up, but I'm gonna let y'all figure that out on your own. I'm not. I have Instagram on my iPad to keep it off my phone, but then I end up just finding my iPad to go on the gram. It's bad news, whatever. But we're not here to talk about Diddy today. We're here to talk about community and why I think community can be a solution to a lot of the problems we have in society. Just a few weeks ago, I made a video talking about big problems and how we go about solving them. Usually, our leaders will conquer these big problems with big solutions, and that does not work. Never has, never will. They're a lot more complicated, these big problems. You got to get at them piece by piece, take brick by brick until there is no longer a problem. Um, but you can't just solve it in all and with one solution, right? It's got to be a ton of mini solutions, in my opinion. And I think community can be a solution to, or building community, improving community, developing community can be a solution to a lot of the problems that we face in not only the United States society, but in societies, communities, countries all over the world. Um, I want to talk today, for example, about immigration because it has been a subject of energy and yeah, just has been a subject recently, right? So I wanted to talk about that and how I think community can solve it. Um, I'm not here to get political. I try to stay pretty moderate. I try to hang out. I try to learn from everybody. I try to change my mind a lot. Um, I try to confuse myself and I try to stay out of the circus because fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Um, but with that being said, obviously, there is a problem with immigration in the United States. Whether you think the problem is that we're letting too many in or we're kicking too many out, there's a problem. I think everyone can agree that there is a problem regarding people that are foreign inside of our country. Um, and I don't, it's hard for me to say what's what because I just feel like I'm lucky enough to be born here. Um, and it kind of fell into my lap. So I wish we could just let everybody in and live a happy life all together. But obviously, it's a little bit more complicated than that. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like that's how Rome like fell. Maybe let's see. Did immigration play into the downfall of Rome? Um, yeah, it did play a role into the downfall of the Western Roman Empire, but there's more complex. There's more complexities. Yeah, so it says. I mean, obviously, there's that wasn't the main reason why Rome fell, but one of the bigger reasons. I'm on ChatGPT right now. Shout out if you guys don't like ChatGPT. I'm sorry. I love it. It's my soulmate. Um, but poor integration is one of the reasons that it gives for Rome's collapse. It says Rome often failed to effectively assimilate and integrate groups into its society, and which obviously can be seen now. Obviously, a lot of people that are immigrants or have moved to this country probably don't feel too welcome nowadays, sadly. And that's a bummer. And I truly wish that everyone could go come and enjoy the beauty of this country as I've been just so lucky to be born into. But obviously, that's not how things work, and a country can't afford to just let everybody in. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Sadly, reality can be a motherfucker sometimes. But I do believe that we can solve these problems effectively. And for immigration in particular, we usually, and I mean, these are, I'll just use immigration as kind of like my main example, but this can be this same, I guess, dare I say, philosophy could be seen in all types of problems that we try to come at in the United States. For example, in immigration, we build a wall at our border. These problems did not start at our border, and they will not stop past our border because they've already become a problem, right? They've already become, there's a reason why these people have left their hometowns, their communities, their cities, their states, their countries to come up to the United States and then enter inside. Building a wall, people are smart. They're going to dig, they're going to fly, they're going to run, they're going to climb, they're going to get around the wall, right? If you put up a wall on me and I want to get out the damn wall, I'm going to fucking try to get out of the wall, right? I think anybody would. So obviously that doesn't work because the problem has already had time to mature and develop. When I lived in Mexico, my I had a final paper that I forget what the class was for, but it was just I want to say was it about? I think it was like society or community in Mexico. It was some I don't know some class, but I wrote my final project, my final paper about the immigration issues that we have between the United States and Mexico and what I believe can solve them. Um, and I truly believe that it could work, right? So since the problem has already had time to develop, that makes you think, why are these people coming to the United States, right? There's something wrong in their neighborhood, in their town, in their city to make them want to leave, maybe in the country as a whole. Um, whether it may be that there's not enough opportunity, there's not enough resources, there's not a good education, they can't make money to support their family, themselves, whatever it may be. They're not comfortable for whatever reason, so they're trying to go find comfort, they're trying to go find stability, so they come to the United States. Um, and then we get mad that they're there, and we try to kick them out, and then they come back, and then we build a wall, and then they climb over it, and then we build it higher, and then they dig under it. So it's already become a problem, and us trying to stop them at the border or kick them out when they've entered is not going to get rid of that problem, right? It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Um, so with that being said, I believe if instead of putting all these resources that we have in the United States into I don't know, building a wall or finding people to kick out immigrants that are already here, I think what might work, maybe I'm just an uneducated young man out here that has no idea about politics or government or budgets or any of that shit. But in philosophy, I think this could work. If we go into these countries that people are coming from and we put this money into communities, into bettering these communities, then there will be no problem to begin with, right? If a person has good education in their community, if a person has opportunity to make more money in their community, if they have access to good food, if their neighborhood's safe, why would they leave? They wouldn't, right? I wouldn't. That's why I don't leave places that much. I hang out because usually I'm safe and I'm happy. That's why I just post up. And this is the same thing. And then people are say, "Oh, well, we don't even do that in our own country," and we don't. We do not, and it's fucked. I'm not disagreeing with that, and we should do that in our own country. And that's another one of these big problems that can be solved by going to individuals in a community, valuing uh, individual health, valuing communal health, valuing societal health. And this starts with the individuals, and this starts in the communities that the individuals are in. For example, you could even say, let's get a city of example that's notoriously violent. Memphis. I've heard Memphis is violent. I don't know. I don't know how violent it is. Let's see how violent Memphis is. Is Memphis? Oh, how do you spell Memphis? Memphis, a violent city. Yeah, it is consistently ranked as one of the most violent cities in the United States. That's a bummer, man, because Memphis is cool as shit. Oh yeah, violent crimes include homicide, aggravated assault, robbery, and rape. Why did they just list off violent crimes? That's crazy. Uh, but yeah, so Memphis, for example, there's a reason why it's violent. right? People aren't just violent if they're happy. But if we go into these communities and we see why they're violent, like, okay, there's zero source of quality education. Yes, there's public schools. Teachers show up, they don't care. Maybe. I don't know. This is just, I'm saying hypothetically. There's no structure. So there's no structure in their education. There's no structure in their communities. They go home, it's violent when they're walking home. Maybe their living situation at home isn't that good. Maybe it is. Who knows? That also plays a factor. They want to go to the store and get something to eat. All there is they're probably in a food desert. There's probably not that many opportunities to eat healthy food. That plays into a lot of things, I think, because health is wealth. Come on. Uh, so then obviously you're gonna have, and I mean I know it get there's a lot more that go into it, but obviously there's gonna be people that are unhappy are gonna do unhappy things, right? You don't walk around miserable and depressed with a smile on your face, dapping up all the neighborhood friends, fucking tossing $100 bills to homeless people. You don't do that when you're depressed. When you're depressed, I don't know, oh fucking someone honks at me and I get out of my car and I'm like, what? Not actually, but I'm saying that's what you do when you're mad and sad at life, right? You don't go do happy things. So if we go into these communities and we focus on fixing these little problems, then I think the bigger problems will fix themselves, right? So, for example, to go back to immigration, if we go into a specific community in Mexico and say it is run by the cartel, we go in there and let's keep the cartel out of this because that's scary. But I mean, the cartels obviously plays a role probably in a lot of this uncomfortability and a lot of reason why people will move out of a country because they don't want to be ruled by a cartel. That sounds horrifying. I know I don't. Uh, but you go into a community, there's no public school within 10 miles. There's no fresh food. It's all processed food. It's all high sugar, fructose corn syrup, processed, whatever it is, nasty stuff. Um, their parents work all the time, so they're not home that much. And when they are home, they're tired. So they're not that happy because they don't get that much family time because their parents are working. You go outside and there's people robbing and stealing and killing because they need to support themselves and their families. So if it's not there in the community, then they'll take it from other people that do have it. So if we go into these communities and we're like, okay, we're going to build a school. We're going to build a school that is that has qualified teachers that care. All right. And then bang, you get that. We're going to put in a supermarket that with a farm next to it. Right. And I mean, this is like utopia, right? Like this is like a best case scenario. But in the big grand scheme of things, how much did the wall cost and how much does building one school, a supermarket, and a farm in a community do? Right. Like how much does that cost in comparison? Like you could probably build 1,000,000 schools and 1,000,000 farms and supermarkets with the money that it costs to build a wall. And I think the problem would see a solution. It wouldn't just see more of the same problem. Um, so if you build all these, you give people resources, you give people opportunity, you give people community, then they're not going to want to leave and they're not going to want to destroy that. They'll take pride in it and they'll stay in it. It's the same thing in the United States. If a neighborhood is run down and there's no good food, there's no good education, um, then people don't take pride in that and they don't care if they're stealing from each other because, well, there's not that much to steal from to begin with, right? So if you give people something or you're able to build something that people can take pride in, then I think there will be a massive downfall in violence and depression in individuals even. Like this, I mean, this can be start person by person, like even bringing in like therapists to communities and like offering like free therapy or some shit. Like I know there's in Cody there's a Luke Bell Memorial Counseling and it offers free therapy for people who need it. And it is like sold out because people need it. People need to be happy, and happy people do happy things. Sad people do sad things. Let's see. Does a strong and structured community promote happiness and demote violence? I already know the answer, but I'm just doubling it back down. Yes, a strong community and strong and structured community is one of the most powerful tools for promoting happiness and reducing violence. Come on, right? Like everyone knows that, but we're not doing it. We're trying to solve these big problems with these big solutions, but the solution is so simple. I mean, and granted, it's not so simple. I know there's a lot of moving factors, but it really is. It's small. You build community, and how look at how it promotes happiness, social connection. So that's going in person to person. People are social creatures. People feel more secure, valued, and emotionally supported when they are a part of a tight knit community. Shared identity and purpose. Come on. Mutual aid in times of crisis. Strong communities help their members, so you get kind of that support structure. How it reduces violence, accountability. Structured communities, people are most likely to be held accountable by neighbors, and also these same people value their neighbors as their neighbors value them. Conflict resolution, opportunities and support. Strong communities often provide better access to education, jobs, mentoring, and mental health support, key factors in preventing crime. Right? So, like, this even can go into like the gun issue. Like, yes, we have a problem with guns and how people use them. We also have a problem like a well-minded person is not going to shoot somebody with a gun, right? So if we're building community for these people that are obviously depressed, messed up in the head, and we're giving them a support system to build up, to rise, to use that energy that is so violent and put it somewhere that is not. Because all it is, that's a lot of energy. You know how much energy it takes to do some messed up shit like that, like shoot people? A lot of energy. So if we're able to bang, mutilate it, bang, take that same energy into some cool shit that isn't killing people. Youth guidance. That's another how it reduces violence. When young people are surrounded by positive role models and engaged in meaningful activities, they're less likely to turn to gangs or violence. Come on. Real world examples. The Harlem Children's Zone in New York City. Comprehensive community support drastically reduced crimes and improved school success. Post-genocide Rwanda, dude. Fucking shout out Rwanda. This matcha right here, right down the street, Rwandan bean. Thank, dude. Yeah, bro. That's fucking delicious. Post-genocide Rwanda. Structured grassroots. I can't read either. Structured grassroots community courts. What? Structured grassroots community courts and reconciliation programs help rebuild social trust and reduce violence. That was really hard for me to get out for some reason. But this is so Rwanda has gone through 2 genocides, both insanely deadly, super sad. No one's disagreeing with that. But you look at present day Rwanda, Kigali is the cleanest city in Africa. They take so much, and it's also one of the safest places to visit. Come on. There's a sense of community, there's a sense of pride, there's a sense of love when you go there. Every single person that I've heard visits Rwanda leaves smiling and saying, man, I was welcomed in. I didn't feel unsafe. People smiled at me when I walked by. I ate good food, and it was clean. People took pride in it. There's no violence. You're not getting robbed. You're not getting stabbed. You're not getting shot. You're not getting killed. You're getting good food and smiles because people take pride in their community. Come on, dude. Let's see. Many immigrant neighborhoods in U.S. cities. Tight social networks often result in lower than expected crime rates despite poverty. I personally have seen this, and granted there are like gangs from immigrants and shit, but you can see this a lot from my experience, from what I've seen. I've lived in a lot of places with high percentage Mexican populations, and you kind of like, they find their community, they're tight knit, and they're quiet, and they do their thing, and they go to work and they come home and they're with their family and they don't do stupid shit, right? Like they have their community, they like it, they're happy, they're there, they have the means to support themselves, their families, hopefully, and there's no violence. Why would they're not going to kill their fellow friend, you know? Come on, I wouldn't. Fuck. Bottom line, ChatGPT says, bottom line, yes, when people feel seen, safe, and supported, they tend to thrive. And that's what strong community structures offer. I mean, I don't think I have to speak anymore. I think this is the solution. This is the solution. And we got to work to implement this solution because it will solve our problems. We don't need big laws. We don't need big change. We don't need like literally like I'm talking about like in that Harlem thing, a building for children to go to be in a community together, to learn, to grow, to have fun, to be kids, instead of the opposite, which we've seen is not that fun. Kids are dying, moms are crying, fucking people are lying in the graves. No one wants that shit. Not me, not anybody. No one has ever wanted that shit. So that being said, go join a community, go build a community, and you're gonna be like, damn, I never thought I could be this happy. And I'm gonna say, I told her so, motherfucker, because someone told me so, and I did it, and I'm happy because I'm in a lot of communities. I go to the gym, that's a community. I like music, so I go to like little concerts. There's community people there, and, you know, like whenever I'm in like a specific city, bang. So gym, I play basketball. People at the courts, I play with them every day, bang. That's a community, like I said. So we got gym, music, basketball. What else? Work, that could even be a community, like your coworkers, even though sometimes your coworkers are like but like most of the time they're not you just got to talk to them, you know. Community in your house, I mean, build relationships with your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your cousins, your grandma, grandpa, fucking everyone, your neighbor. Go knock on your neighbor's door, dude. Offer him a muffin, like I might do. Now I'm gonna eat this muffin. But yeah, that's all. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Much love.